Yeah. Okay. Okay, everyone, I'd like to get the meeting started so we can get out of here as quickly as we can. We do have quite a few things to go over, so I'd like to hold all the questions to the end to kind of try to save some time. So before we really get into what CYO has to offer and what protections they have to make sure all the kids can enjoy their time and be safe and comfortable and all those things, I want to go into kind of the goal of CYO. So give me a moment because I'm going to read it pretty much directly from the website. Camp Caritas, which is the name for that specific facility of CYO, offers an age-appropriate focus on fostering spiritual and social and academic learning in nature in the great outdoors. For 5 days, students will be asked to consider their place in the world, their impact on the world, and how they can become a better version of themselves. Students will learn about how they can improve the natural ecosystems around them and how big their environmental footprints are. They will also be asked to reflect on their own choices as individuals and how these choices impact the community they live in. At this camp, they do that by doing a lot of small group discussions that they call serendipities with the students. And in order to foster kind of trust with the students, they're going to come here a few weeks before we go to CYO, and they're going to do some group activities with the 6th grade class and the 7th grade class to try to teach them how they expect the students to behave. This whole idea of a circle of trust, that what the students share in those small group discussions will stay in those small group discussions, and the students can kind of learn and grow from the experience. It's kind of a really great, powerful experience in that way because of the serendipities and the sharing that they do. So the students often come back feeling like they've grown a lot and really closer as a classroom community, which is why we like to do it when the students are in 6th grade. We are offering it to 7th grade, however, because you guys missed it last year and we wanted to try to make up that experience for it. If you're a 7th grade parent and you're just arriving, I have this paperwork right here that Mr. McLeod's going to pass out, and it has all the forms, and you can kind of follow along to see, what you're supposed to bring, what medical stuff they provide, what you guys will need to provide information-wise, and we'll try to walk ourselves through some of that. Another thing CYO does a really great job of is I contact the office every day and check in with them near the end of the school day and say, oh, this went really well, this didn't go as well. And if there's anything that's concerning them or they want to share, they will reach out with you guys. So please don't feel like your kids are gone for 5 days. You'll never hear from us. You'll never know what's going on. We will let you guys know. We're in constant contact with the school office here as well, okay?
Hang on. So if you are a 7th grade, 6th grade families should have gotten it from the children today. If you're 7th grade parents, you can handle it out.
Yeah, and some of you guys, I passed them out. I kind of just guessed. So this is a daily schedule. It's really rough because every day is not exactly the same, but generally this is what the kids can expect every day. There is one day where we take them to the beach, so that day is a lot different, but for the most part, they'll wake up at 7 a.m. They have like an hour to get ready, and that includes cleaning up their own sleeping area, cleaning up their cabin, brushing their teeth, daily hygiene needs. And then everyone's going to head over to the hall for breakfast, and all the kids line up in their eating group. So they have a different eating group than the group they sleep with. And then they have a different hiking group than the group they eat with. So they make sure throughout the day, the kids are with different groups and they're not always stuck with the same person for the whole week, which is really nice. And then once they're all inside and they're eating breakfast, it's kind of another great opportunity for the kids to learn some self-management because they have to serve themselves and they have to clean up for themselves, which can be very entertaining that first day because not a lot of the kids have really been asked to do that. So watching them all stare at each other when their plates are all empty and they're still hungry is kind of enjoyable, but they learn. And by the end of the week, they're doing it. They're really good at it. By the end of the week, oh, do we need more of that? And they're up and they're out and they're taking care of themselves. So it's another great learning opportunity for them. And then let's see, what do we have? Then we do morning hiking and activities. So they line up again outside and they go with their hiking groups. And then they usually go on like a small trail around there. They get up somewhere that's nice and secluded in the woods somewhere. And then they'll do those little serendipities I was talking about, where they'll talk about maybe something that was really hard when they were young or something that made them really excited, or some memory they want to share. Or they'll do activities that build or foster teamwork, like, cross your arms and untangle your little circles. They do those kind of activities. Then out in the wherever trail they're on, they'll eat a quick lunch and then they'll come back. And they'll do another set of activities on that trail on their walk back. And then they'll have kind of their free afternoon time. So most of the day is structured, but they get 2 hours in the afternoon where they have some free time. And this is kind of where the kids have a lot of fun because there's archery and there's canoeing and there's this like mud game I was trying to tell the kids about where there's this ball that gets all wet and you splash mud on each other. It's kind of really entertaining. And there's also like a pool, which I think is going to be like the first time we've been able to do the pool because it's nice. We're late in May, so it'll be warm enough for those kind of activities. But they do a lot of great fun things. And that's when, if you are a chaperone, your time will be split. That's when you'll get your break to shower and take care of your own personal needs at that time. And then after that, they line back up for dinner. They eat dinner. After dinner, they have some time to do like showers, those kind of hygiene things. And they'll meet for like an evening activity, like a nighttime campfire. Sometimes they do skits. They're kind of really cute. The kids all have to participate in them. And then they get their evening bedtime. And then I'll check in with all the kids throughout the day, or Mr. McLeod, because he'll be there for half the week as well. So that's like kind of the daily schedule for the kids. And like I said, it'll vary here and there, but that's generally what they'll be doing each day. So it sounds really exciting, right? They're going to be on trails. They're going to be in the pool. They're going to be in the canoe. But we also want to talk about how are we going to keep your kids safe. So CYO is very proud to announce that they do meet all the California Health Department standards. All of their nature trail experts are like CPR certified. They are all lifeguards as well. So if any student wants to participate in the pool or go canoeing or do those really fun things, they have to pass a swim test on the first day. And they'll have trained lifeguards at all the places, but we want to make sure the kids are safe. So we don't want to put them in a place where they're not going to be able to keep themselves protected. So the first day they do the swim test. And then after that, they kind of walk them through what's the safe measure. If you're going to be at the archery, how are we responsible with it? So they're very careful with making sure that the kids are safe in that way. On the trails are cleared regularly. So they're nice and wide and the kids won't get lost. The chaperones won't get lost. And on the first day, they're taught about like, oh, we stay on the trail. We don't touch poison ivy and those kind of things. So they teach them a little bit about how to manage themselves in nature. And again, the whole goal is making sure our kids are nice and safe as they go about it. Obviously, the campfire I mentioned is very exciting, but they're only lit when someone's going to supervise them. They're not just going to let a fire go crazy without anyone watching them. And then if like there's any concerns about health concerns for your students, the like medical center is right there by the lunch. So the lunch dining hall. So in the morning, if they have any meds they need to take, they don't have to go some far away place. They just go step in privately in the little office. They get their meds and they're right back there with the kids and no one has to know, which is really nice. And they do a really good job of meeting the kids' needs if they have any concerns like wetting the bed or any of those things that sometimes happen at this age for some students. And it all happens privately. When the kids all go into the breakfast hall in the morning when everyone is there in breakfast, that's when they clean it out. So no one has to worry about being embarrassed or any of those things. So they do a really good job of making sure that every kid can feel safe and happy there and not embarrassed about anything they're still struggling with. So if you have any of those kind of concerns about special needs your child has, please let us know because we can make sure your child can attend. And that's like our big goal. Let's see. So what to pack in the paperwork you have on page 2, isn't it 2? 3, page 3, it says 2, is the very detailed packing list. I'm going to recommend 2 pairs of hiking shoes. 2 pairs of hiking shoes because one of them is going to get wet. They're going to go through trails and then there's some little creeks in the trails, or they're going to play in the mud pit, or they're going to play, by the pool, and they're going to get their shoes back on, they're going to get wet. If you bring an extra pair of shoes, then your kid's not going to have soggy feet for the whole week and they'll be a lot happier. So I recommend 2 pairs of shoes. If you're going to buy hiking shoes, break them in early. Nothing's worse than bringing brand new hiking shoes out there and then having blisters for the whole week. So make sure they're used shoes and not brand spanking new. Sandals, because showers and you don't want to clean feet in dirty shoes. It's gross. Yeah. You cannot bring electronics. The students will not be allowed to bring alarm clocks. They will not be allowed to bring phones. They will not be allowed to bring their tablets or any of those things. So if your child wants to take pictures, which a lot of them do, disposable cameras are recommended so you can get lots of pictures and memories with all of your family groups, and the nature itself actually is what a lot of the kids take pictures of. And then extra socks, because again, you're going to get wet. They're going to get wet. The other thing is it's not really on there, but 2 bags, because you're going to have all your clean clothes. And then that first day, your camper is going to take off all their clothes and it's going to be dirty or it's going to be wet and they're going to stuff it with their clean clothes. And then by like the 3rd day, everything kind of smells like day old socks. So if you bring a couple extra bags, 1 for the dry, 1 for the wet, or however, then nothing smells as bad by the end of the week, which is kind of nice. So just some extra things I recommend. Also, no snacks, because we don't want any weird animals crawling into their cabins, which are really nice, and we want to keep them that way. Okay. The healthcare plan, they have a actual hospital is only 15 miles away. So if there's a true healthcare emergency, that hospitals are not that far away, and they will get your child the needs they are met, right? As far as the cabins, they can fit up to 12 people. They are reducing the size down to 8 kids and 1 chaperone to allow for the kids to be more spread out. And the cabins themselves, they're really nice. There'll be 2 of them with like a little deck or patio between them and open doors that cannot be locked right here. So even though we are going to be at the camp with another school, there'll always be some parent from our school within 5 feet of your students. So that like on the trails, when you're hiking, there'll be 1 from our school and 1 from their school. And at night, there'll be like a St. Francis chaperone here and a chaperone from the other school here, another Catholic school. And so we'll be really close to each other, and they always will have someone they can feel like they can reach out to and talk to if there's ever any concerns. And your child will never be left alone with all students from another school. There's always going to be some kids from our class and some kids from their class, so that they can participate in bonding and getting to know new people who have different extraordinary circumstances than the ones that we live in, right? So that's always a really great opportunity. Medications. If your child takes med, they are very peculiar about how your meds are brought into camp. So make sure that if you have any medications like EpiPens or any pills that they have to take on a regular basis, make sure you spend a lot of time going through these directions right here, because they will not accept the medication if you've already put them in the little pill dividers. They have to be in the original container, the one that's from the pharmacist with the signature and all that. You have to have the pharmacist signatures and all the paperwork. So make sure, especially if you need those medications, that you go through this paperwork, because it can be a real pain if you wait till like the week before and suddenly realize that you need to get all those things. So that's one of the reasons we're giving out this paperwork so early, so that you can meet and plan with your child's doctors and have all that paperwork filled out, right? So just making sure you take care of those things. Yeah. So payment, it is an expensive trip because, like I said, the cabins are really nice. They have a pool and the trails that they maintain. So the total cost is $483. We offer 2 kind of options. You can do a breakup 3 payments of $161, or you can just pay it all at once and just get it over with. Whichever one works easier for you guys. That's the 2 options we have. We've broken it up, so it's gonna be like February 1st, 5th, March 5th, April 5th, and we'll pass out like a form that's like a cut it off as you go, so you can keep track of your payments soon. We just want to make sure we have all the numbers finalized before we send it out. So that's our payment. We understand it's probably bigger. That's why we broke it up a little bit. Transportation this year, the big reason why it took so long for us to meet, we cannot get a bus. So in order to facilitate everyone getting there, you guys are going to drop your kids off at 11:30 with a bagged lunch on Monday, May 8th. And then you guys will pick them up at 12:30 Friday, May 12th. And so you guys can coordinate amongst yourselves, like one parent pick up a group. You guys have to do that. Otherwise, it's a huge hassle with a lot of extra clearances and things like that. So we will meet your kids there at 11:30 on that day. Obviously, chaperones, it'll work a little differently, but we'll talk about that in a minute, right? But the great thing is no bus fee, helps with the cost. All right, chaperones. So I had so many volunteers that first night, which was really great news, that we're going to have to randomly pick our chaperones. There are some caveats to that. If you were able to go to Point Reyes, for example, then we're going to prioritize families whose parents did not go to Point Reyes. If you are able to go for the full week, then you're going to take priority over families that can only go for the half week. Does that make sense? Also, if you've already done all the certification for the school office, we're going to prioritize you then over the families that have to get caught up on the paperwork. And the way that we're going to do that is, after this meeting ends, we are going to send out a Google form, and the Google form is going to say my name is, my child's name is, I'm going to participate in the full week, or I'm going to participate in the half week. And then Friday at 12 o'clock, we're going to close the form down, and then we'll make our selection based on who has signed up for it. And we need just a total of 9. That's 5 parents from 7th grade and 4 from 6th grade. So we don't need that many chaperones, which does mean that if the volunteering is as much as it is, it's going to feel like very few. You get your wish and get to go. I will let you guys know, chaperones spend no time with their kids. It is set up so that the kids learn independence and have to foster solving problems on their own. So if you are going, You will not be in the cabin with your kids. You will not be in the hiking trail with your kids, and you will not be at the little lunch dinner table things with your kids. You're split up the whole time so that your kid solves their own problems and they don't have to feel like their mom or dad is looking over their shoulder, which some of the kids appreciate at this age. And for the most part, the only time that you could intermingle is during the free time, but your kid would have to hunt you down, and you probably want to break that anyway. So it's gonna work out that you're never gonna see each other, right? So that's great about that. And if you go, we'll check in regularly, communicate, and we'll have cell phones. So you parents, if you're a chaperone, do have cell phone access, but the kids are not allowed to have cell phones during that time. Yeah, so the only other big thing is after we pick the forms on Friday and let you guys know who's going, we will have one more meeting with chaperones because I got to go into more detail about your expectations, how you have to manage the cabins and the safety things we require of you guys. But other than that, that's the only other big thing besides showing up for a week at CYO and basically not getting to watch TV, which turns out is a lot of fun. So, let's see. Okay, I know I ran through that really fast, but I was trying to get to this. Does anyone have any questions? No.
Does it cost chaperones to pay?
Nope, chaperones are covered.
You mentioned we're going with another school. Do you know what school it is, or is it?
No, they don't tell us until closer to. Yeah.
How many did you say?
Up to 8.
Okay.
Up to 8.
So the half of.
Yeah, it'll be about half and half. So.
In the same cabin, or like half in one cabin, like our kids in one cabin?
So they mix the
mix them in the
school,
cabin.
they mix the cabins.
Oh,
And then, but the way the chaperones work, it can be up to 8, but it's usually a little less. But
so it's 4.
it's basically 4 and 4, or 3 and
4 and
3.
a chaperone, 4 and a chaperone, so 5.
Yeah.
And 5.
No, for the hikings at night, it'll be
8 kids,
Yeah.
1 chaperone.
8 kids, 1 chaperone at night.
And the cabins are connected, so even if it's on a St. Francis, mom and dad, they're like literally right there.
Yeah.
Is there a way to raise money so we not pay the whole month?
Yeah, so CYO does offer scholarships opportunities. So if you wanted to look into reducing the cost, you could reach out to CYO, and they also, just like us, have a goal of making sure every kid can attend. So you'd reach out to
But
CYO.
it's nothing that we can do.
No,
Well, I mean, that's up to the parents. If you guys wanna sell cupcakes on a Saturday, let me know and I'll open the gate, but if there's been nothing planned probably. But if parents decide they wanna do something, you know, we're doing a lot of fundraising for Yosemite and we're gonna do Father's Daughter Dance, so we have to be careful about not going too crazy. Parents coming here, that's what we do, but we work it out, every student goes, so.
yeah, that's the goal, 100% attendance, because like I was telling the kids, they talk about it. I mean, especially 6th graders are going to be talking about this all the way through 8th grade. And we don't want any child to feel like they've been left out, because the kids are talking, oh, do you remember when we did the trust fall activity? And oh, no, I didn't. You don't want to. So we want to make sure every kid feels safe enough to attend, feels comfortable enough to attend, and can afford to attend. So please, if you guys have any concerns that you want to talk about privately, we'd be very happy to meet, because I want that goal. I want every kid to attend. I want every kid to be able to experience it. So especially if you have those concerns that you're like, I don't want to ask a whole public question, we'd definitely be happy to meet, especially the sooner the better. And we can set up those private things and try to get everyone happy to attend. Yeah.
I personally have gone 10 times because I taught 6th grade here for 11 years. I love Yosemite, I love Point Reyes. This is the hands down best trip for the kids, in my personal opinion. Everything they do is on purpose. The naturalists are amazing. They don't do anything by accident. Everything is planned. It is such a bonding experience. Lots of the kids are pen pals with these kids for years. They go back in the summer to go to summer camp. It is, I'm trying to think of, Francine, did Henry go, or was that?
No,
it was
we
COVID?
yeah.
I think the pageants went.
But would you agree that it's?
I mean, it's amazing. It's like it's a really nice, like all the facilities are nice, comfortable, the food good. Actually, Jeremy and I were.
Yeah.
We're table maintenance.
She was the only time I went.
Yeah.
They do serendipity and lots of bonding, and it's a very emotional trip. Kids come back and think, well, when they have a CYO bus, we're singing on the bus, and it's an amazing.
They were like
experience.
hugging the shop.
Hugging
They were
it.
like hugging, like crying, like.
Yeah. They were like, so they wanted to keep in contact with the other school. Remember, it was such a great experience meeting the other kids, just because, you know, our kids are very privileged, and they have a lot of opportunities that maybe other students don't have. And so we're often paired with a school that doesn't get the same opportunity our students get. And so they learn a lot about a life they've never experienced, and they get to consider things from an angle they never had. And it was kind of great to see them grow and learn in that way. Like, oh, we could meet with them. I don't know how we'd set it up, and just the opportunities for them to see the world in a different light was really incredible. Yeah. Anything else, guys?
Can they bring personal books?
They can bring books. They can even bring stuffed animals, a comfort blanket, and those kind of things. The cabin does come with like a mattress, but it's not that comfortable. So you want to bring a good warm blanket. You want maybe even like an extra blanket to put underneath you. But you can even allow stuffed animals and those kind of things, because they will have some downtime in the afternoon when they can read books and those kind of things. They're usually pretty wiped out though, especially the first few days. Just kind of conk out. Any other questions?
But any concerns, any health issues or anything that you're worried about, reach out to Ms. Rose and to Mr. McLeod or to me, because we really, it's a great trip. They're very safe. They're very well cared for. Everybody's watching out for them, so.
And I mean, they're very good about allergies. Part of the reason they set up the dining room different areas is because they can make sure that the kids are eating at a table that they won't be exposed to any allergies or any of those kind of things. So it's like part of the first things they're trained about is that you're going to get the red trays, and the red trays, for example, could have no meat or whatever it is, right? So they meet accommodations for different kids, and they always have kind of like an offside where it's, what is that, sunflower seed oil instead of peanut butter and jelly. So even if your kid's like, oh, there's no way I'm going to eat that, there's always basically peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. So your kids aren't going to go hungry. I've seen kids like 5 or 6 of those sandwiches. Yeah, they take care of all the food. The only thing we have to show up is with our happy kids to learn a few things. So except for the first day, when you drop them off on Monday, you got to bring your own stack of lunch. Otherwise, they might be hungry by the time dinner rolls around.
And they weigh the children's food after they eat, which it's a
Oh,
common,
yeah.
it's not wasted food.
I forgot about that.
And you will be amazed how much food does not go through there. And they notice how much food they waste, and they only take what they want. They can go back 100 times, but it trains them because it's competition. And then they get, they don't have to clean up that night or something.
Yeah, there's a reward.
They have these space per table.
Quite a bit of paperwork. When does this need to be turned in?
So we're giving this to you guys really early. I'm going to require these back end of March. Medications are a little bit different, because if you have any of the medications with doctors and all that signature stuff, we'll be collecting that right after you get back from spring break, because that's the week before we go. So any medication type stuff, you don't need to turn in until the week before, but everything else we're going to require at the end of March. Yeah. So you have a lot of
You'll see it
time.
there. It has to be in the bottle with the little thing on it,
Yeah.
so.
And then also, if your kid like gets a sunburn or something, part of the things you sign off, they do have some like condoms for that. They have the aloe vera lotion. So that it's like if your kid runs into a common problem that they kind of have like a little cough or something, they have some of the basic medication, and you sign off, or you say, nope, my kid's allergic to that. So they do ask a lot of those questions, and you need to be really thorough about saying, no, my kid's allergic to this, they can't have it. And we have to check it before any medication gets passed out, because they want your kids to be happy and safe. But part of that's just that communication, which is why you're getting it so early. Is there any 7th grade parents who came in late that did not get this form because you need it for your child? So that cool.
Can I just ask my, so parents are interested in chaperoning, just so you know, that nurse in the medical office is open like all night too. So that is like a concern or fear. I found that comforting to know, like if something happened in the middle of the night and I didn't know what to do, that there was, no mind.
When you said bring lunch, instead of dropping off, you mean disposable lunch?
Yeah, like a little sack lunch that they can just like throw away after.
EpiPens, how many do they need to have and where do they come from?
Good question.
They want like one in the office and one at all times, or?
I think the way it works is it stays with the chaperone adult, like it doesn't stay on the kid, but they'll have, so the EpiPen will be on the chaperone adult. I can look into it, because I'm not 100% sure.
I just want to-
And
Any other questions? No? Well, then I think this went really well. Email us if you think of any questions over the next few days, and be on the lookout for the chaperone form. Please email us if you don't get it by the end of tonight, because I'm about to send it out. That way you can sign up to be a chaperone, and we can have you guys informed about who's gonna be chaperone by Friday afternoon.
When will the payment forms
We're just getting them double checked, so
Okay.
hopefully end of this week, if not next week, we'll get them to you guys. Just put her on the spot. Yeah.
Thank you.
Good night.